Thank you for joining us this morning, and we've invited you here to bring you an update on the work of the Mayor's Anti-Poverty Commission. And while the problems that create concentrated poverty touch many pillars of the city, the good news is that solutions touch those same pillars. And so I want you to know that the Anti-Poverty Commission report has not been sitting on a shelf, but we're ready to focus on some solutions. An implementation plan has been devised to move forward with the pursuit of each of the 5 major recommendations. And for those of you who have been following the work of the Commission, you know that those 5 areas are workforce development, economic development, transportation, education, and redeveloping public housing without displacement. The task forces, consisting of key administrators in each policy area, issue experts, and nonprofit and business stakeholders, are going to develop specific implementation proposals specifying what is to be done, who is to do it, timelines, metrics, and estimated cost. We've divided education into 3 task forces focused on early childhood, adolescence, and college access issues, respectively. The work of the task forces will be done between now and November, and an overall poverty reduction policy proposal will be delivered in time to significantly impact the budget negotiations and the budget cycle for the following 2 years. Now, with all of that being said, which is really new language for city government, we are realistic. We do not expect these proposals to be fully implemented overnight, but we also recognize that we didn't get to where we are overnight, and so we will still take time. But the message today is that we're focused and that we are strategic in what we are trying to do. We're asking the task forces to think in terms of both making tangible short-term impacts and to build up capacity to be even more effective in the future. My administration is going to be looking at revenue-generating alternatives to help fund these initiatives. At the same time, we're introducing something genuinely new into Richmond government, a mechanism for ensuring that poverty stays at the top of the agenda and that persons living or working in or near poverty will have a seat at the table in our discussions. And this will transcend whoever is in office on city council or mayor, but these provisions will make poverty something that we will no longer be able to ignore. The Citizens Advisory Board is co-chaired by Councilwoman Ellen Robertson, who's standing with me, as well as Professor Thad Williamson of the University of Richmond. And they have done just so much work. I wonder if you would give them a round of applause for their leadership in this area. They are going to provide input into the work of the task forces and play an ongoing role in leading the work of the commission. Now I want to talk a little bit about the commission because at least half of the members of the board are living in poverty or near poverty, and so this will not be a gilded ivory tower kind of a group that does not know of what it speaks, but it will include people who are actually in the midst of experiencing that which we're trying to mitigate. We're also announcing today that we're going to call this initiative the Maggie L. Walker Initiative for Expanding Opportunity and Fighting Poverty. The Maggie L. Walker Initiative will honor the social and entrepreneurial legacy of this hometown hero. And as she was a proponent of person-centered community economic development and empowerment and self-help, we also want to be proponents of the same notions. The Citizens Advisory Board will be called the Maggie Walker Board. And our effort in Richmond is one of the most comprehensive anti-poverty initiatives now underway in a major American city, and certainly the most comprehensive in our city's history. And so we're very proud of what's going on, and we look forward to the results of our work. The various task forces will be organized in the following ways. Workforce development will be headed up by Jameson Manning. Jameson, raise your hand there. Economic development by John Meeser from VCU. He's not here, I don't think. Transportation by Reverend Ben Campbell. I don't know whether he is here or not. Housing by Dr. Amy Howard from the University of Richmond. early childhood education by Dr. Kevin Allison at VCU, adolescent transition, Dr. Harold Fritter of Communities and Schools, and Richmond Promise Scholarship will be chaired by Delegate Dolores McQuinn. And the membership roster, and I don't know how many members of the advisory board are here today. I don't see many of those members here today, and so I'm not going to call their names, but we have members from the business community, we have parents, we have representatives from the NAACP, we have representatives from the Extension Division of Virginia Tech, we have people from who live in public housing projects, we have people represented from education and from higher education. It is a well-rounded commission, and we will let those names be heard of, be disseminated before you leave today. And so I want to thank all of them for their willingness to serve in this very important capacity. Now, before I ask Ellen and Thad to come forward with remarks, I just want to note that we're stationed here today outside of the new home of the city's Workforce Center for Workforce Innovation. And we want this to be an indication of our willingness to be innovative and change paradigms and strategies as we try to put people in our workforce pipeline. This center is not quite ready, but we wanted to let you know that it is in the process of becoming ready, and our pipeline efforts are demand-driven, where the needs of businesses are going to be met by those who are in social services charge, who are being worked with by social services. We want to expand our workforce pipeline. This is the #1 recommendation of the Anti-Poverty Commission, and we want you to know that this work is moving forward, and we're changing the paradigm so that persons who are receiving public assistance, persons who need public assistance, will be channeled into workforce training. And I don't know whether we're going to let anybody in here today, or we're going to let you in here today. We're not ready. We'll have a ribbon cutting when we're ready to open it, but you can see how serious we are about changing the paradigm of how we address getting people into the pipeline. I want to recognize the presence of Delegate Betsy Carr from the 69th District. We're glad to have you, Betsy. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the two chairpersons for their remarks. Ellen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And good morning to everyone. This is a really exciting day for us that have served on this commission of the mayors for the past couple of years almost, at least 18 months that we've been working on this. I want to express my gratitude and appreciation for all of the persons that have volunteered their time throughout this process to work with us to get the initial report done and the follow-up of all of the volunteers, and there are lots of them that are continuing to work with us on these task force, and they've got a huge responsibility to work through an implementation strategy as well as to present a budget to support that implementation strategy so that we can move forward with engaging partners in this initiative, engaging city council, and making sure that we put the money behind the plan, because without some support, financial support, none of these things will happen. I am extremely impressed with the work that the volunteers have done in cooperation with this and the comprehensiveness of the plan, as the mayor has mentioned. Employment, of course, we define poverty by how much money people make. So certainly employment is important, and Jameson has done a fabulous job for the city of Richmond with the workforce. We work together on a regional board that deals with workforce, and just a top secret, let me tell you, Richmond has the region beat when it comes to our workforce initiative. So I especially want to thank Mayor, you and your staff, and for the work and the commitment that has been made from that perspective. Likewise, I think it's extremely wise of the volunteers that have worked with us to also talk specifically about our efforts in future economic development when we look at public assistance, tax incentives, and those kinds of assistance that we do to recruit businesses, that their plan as it relates to their employment policies and their doing works with people of poverty is going to be incorporated in those decision-making process. And I think that's going to add volumes to our effectiveness in getting people employed and making decent wages so that they can carefully take care of themselves and their families. The three-tier approach to education takes it from conception to promised career. And that says a lot for what we are trying to do with education. And we're very thankful to Jeff Bourne, to the school board, to his staff of the school system for their support and their leadership in helping us with addressing the education components. And of course, Ben Campbell, I'm telling you, he is on it. When it comes to regional initiatives within this region, one of the things that we lack significantly and contributes to poverty is adequate transportation. And Ben Campbell, the day will come when we will see regional transportation, and we will have to give Ben a crown for his work. And of course, the mayor did not mention, but we will be having our kickoff just Wednesday night. Master developer has been selected for the redevelopment of Wickham and Creighton, which is our first major housing development initiative that is directly related to the initiatives of this Poverty Commission. So great work is being done. It's not just a plan. Actual accomplishments are already in progress, and you will be amazed and pleased with what you're going to experience when we open the doors and let you see what we're doing from Workforce. Again, Mayor Jones, this would not happen if it not had been for your leadership and your continual leadership and commitment of your staff and resources. I know that it has been taxing at times, but I also appreciate your dedication and commitment to this value. And that is going to follow me, but let me just say before he speaks, we would not have made it to where we are today in this space of setting up actual implementation without the dedication, the determination, the stick to it, let's meet again, and again, that he has led. And he has taken his time that he could have done something else with to dedicate 100% to this initiative. And we have to figure out a way that we can convince the University of Richmond to let us keep him. I'm working on it.
Thank you. Thanks again to Mayor Jones for the opportunity to work on such a significant project. I would like to thank also John Meeser, who's not here, who has been a driving force at the initial stages of this project, and he was the one who volunteered me for the implementation part. And I'm glad he did it because it has been one of the truly great educational experiences of my life. And I really thank Ellen Robertson so much for that because I've learned so much from you in this process. I mean, this has taken a while, but what I've been telling people is it's mainly because this is deeply challenging and complicated, what we're trying to do, which is to get all the different branches of city government and related agencies, such as the school board, such as GRTC, such as the Housing Authority, and different community partners to work in a coordinated direction around a shared policy goal in a way that's never been done before. At the same time, we're assuring that the voices of those living in poverty are a vital part of the conversation at every stage, and asking those board members to play a role in holding people's feet to the fire, to making sure this is not just a moment, this is not forgotten about, but we really do follow through. Now, many factors affecting poverty in the city are clearly beyond our control, but there is much we can do at the state and regional and city level, and then this is what we focused on in this report. What, as James likes to say, what's within our span of control. And even if the economy were booming and jobs were plentiful, there's still a lot of work we have to do in Richmond because we have structural barriers to opportunity that are reproducing poverty in the city. So a report was released recently by leading economists showing that our region, Richmond, was 85th out of 100 in terms of upward income mobility, their chances of rising out of poverty. And then the reasons why aren't hard to understand. We've concentrated poverty in one part of the city. We've created schools that are largely segregated by race and income. We've seen good paying jobs disappear or migrate to suburbs, and we failed to provide transportation to provide access to those jobs. So consequently, we have a major employment crisis and also as a result, a crisis in the family and a social crisis. is we have to begin tearing down these barriers and do the work of both connecting residents to quality opportunities and preparing them to be successful in those opportunities. I think the commission report provides a roadmap to do that, to address these interlocking challenges. And now we're calling for all hands on deck, to implement the recommendations in very specific ways. So I think our responsibility is to embrace this opportunity that has been created before us and do everything we can using everything we have. While we have a great deal of poverty, this is not a poor city. We have a lot of assets. We have anchoring economic institutions many other places would be very jealous of. And we have a lot of committed people in the city who care about this and are already working on this in different ways. So we have it within our power to move the needle on poverty in a significant way starting now, and I look forward to continuing to be part of it with these partners. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for being here. We'll make ourselves available to the press for questions, but thank you all for coming. Thank you so much.